Hi folks, beautiful minds. Look, what do you see? Do you see a black canvas and white dots? Because technically it is. Or do you see actually something else? What can you imagine? What can you make use out of this for a future you can build? Is it alien civilizations, space travel, time travel, and all sorts of opportunities and adventures? What is the future you see? And why is future so important to us? You know, it's very simple, I think. You and I and everybody, you know, basically everybody, will spend the rest of our lives in the future. And that's something to care about, something to design. And I think if we get together and do this really well, we can actually design a future we want to live in. Now, to do this really well, we need to understand the mechanics of change. Imagine that each line on this fantastic diagram that I have made is a big change, like Gutenberg moment, right? So yeah, Gutenberg started, and then, I don't know, we went to the moon, then we got internet, then Facebook, then all sorts of cute animals in Facebook, then AI, and so on. These things are not discrete moments anymore. They come in sort of a flow of change. They're coming so tight together, we have 10 Gutenberg moments per year. This flow is a platform of change. Now, since it's exponentially faster, each time you look, maybe it doubles. Our brains doesn't compute that. They really don't. It's not natural for a human being to think exponentially. It's just in our DNA. The best example I got is from Singularity University, where they said, okay, imagine you're going 30 steps into the future. Maybe you take 1 meter each. You will be somewhere there. That's easy. But if you take 30 exponential steps, where would you be? The first is the same. The second, still the same. The third, very unfair, and it just moves on. So who tells me, naturally, what's the 30th exponential step? Who had a lot of coffee this morning? As I said, it's not natural for us. It's, you know, really, really far away. And even if I show you the number, 1 billion meters away, you don't compute. You need a human context, which is 25 times around the globe. That's the difference between the unnatural exponential thinking and the natural. So that was the first thing about understanding how future works. The second is, all these things exponentially growing and then converging in very unpredictable ways. This is a small, banal, but very telling example how that could look. Let's see if the movie plays.
I want to be a Oh, wait a minute. I want to be a scientist.
Eureka! A scientist. I think science is so amazing. Why do you want to be a scientist?
I always really liked chemistry and physics in school.
The study of physics is incredible.
Yeah.
Take gravity. You can't see it, but the second you trip, it's right there to pull you down. Did you ever fall or trip on something?
Yeah, unfortunately, all the time.
It happens to me all the time. That's gravity, pulling you down, sometimes with an ouch.
Right. You can almost take this thing out for dinner. You can almost have a Trump Miss World quality of a conversation, some would say. At least we, you know, do away with some sexist stereotypes. Barbie at least starts to speak science. It was about time. But what's really happening here is Moore's law, the exponential change of computing, processor power. It's Wi-Fi, it's cloud computing, it's natural language processing, and all these things coming together in a doll. Who would tell me that 10 years ago and be certain that that would happen? Let me give you some examples of things that are happening right now. These guys are building rockets, and you could stereotypically say it's because they're guys and very rich. You need a rocket. Not true. They also know that Japan is developing extraterrestrial autonomous construction machines. They also know that your next Audi Quattro will drive on the moon, because they're producing it right now. And I met that guy. He worked for NASA for 17 years, then he quit, because, I don't know, NASA is maybe boring. He started his new company to produce that thing. He has a prototype in the desert. He will shoot it up in space. There he will capture asteroids, like Bruce Willis in that movie, if anybody remembers. then he will direct solar power on the stone to produce fuel. And I asked him, Joel, why would you do that? I said, don't you understand, Martin? We need gas stations in space, in our solar system. Why, Joel? Don't you know? You will have 7-Elevens, you will take vacation, you will work and live in space. He imagined and articulated a future that is industrialization of space. This is a picture from NASA, thinking there and predicting that future, projecting it at least. Another example is that the evolution of our brain is dead slow. But within 10 years, wearables can connect our bodies and minds to internet. And this is happening right now. Neuralink is developing brain-machine interfaces. This lady is controlling a computer with her mind. She's paralyzed, and she imagines that she's moving her arms, so she can type 8 words per minute. Thoughts, emotions, facts might be transmitted instantly across the planet. Maybe we can raise the global mutual understanding, mutual empathy. Science fiction is becoming science fact. And the only thing between science fiction and science fact is science and our very hard work. Third example. All these things are transparent. The thing is, up there it's wood, like wood from the forest, it's transparent. There it's aluminum, the metal that is otherwise not so transparent, and glass, always transparent, but it's a solar cell. What does it mean for energy harvesting and architecture? Well, I tell you, in fact, on March the 11th, California was bleeding money because the technology in innovation caught up with the business innovation. We need to change the desirable futures to disrupt fundamental business models, scarcity to abundance. Maybe we're just demonetizing energy as it is. And this is important because businesses usually don't think like that. They think that this is Kodak, Nokia, and so on. If you keep doing what you're doing, you will keep getting what you're getting. That's not true, because the future is exponential, and someone will disrupt you. And meanwhile, while you're disrupting somewhere there, you look a little bit gray and cheap. This is not going to work. This is why I have this printed in my room, because this is why we'll continue to build faster horses. So yeah, never in human history has the present been so temporary. Change is the compass. We need to deeply map, understand, and articulate where we want to be. And we have new tools to do that. Data is the world information, the content, the statistics, analytics, reports, etc. But what does it mean in a human context? Because if content is king, context is the King Kong. This is what matters to humans. This is what changes how we'll see the future if we just change it slightly, just a little bit. You imagine a totally different future for you, based on the same data. Catherine Fake sold Flickr to Yahoo a long time ago. Her skill was not collecting your photographs as a content. Her skill was a social human context of sharing memories and art. Then she started a new company called Hunch. She started to ask questions. Do you know what a cat wants when it meows? Yeah, it wants my love, which is not true, it just wants food. Speaking of food, do you eat your berries on top of your yogurt or in the bottom? Very important question. Another one that is very important, would you tell a child that it's been adopted if you didn't know? Now, all this content, what is the human context? Of course, you ask an algorithm, you ask a mathematician. This is what they did. 80 million answers to 2,000 questions for free, because people like this, gave us these answers. If you like Pepsi more than Coke, you believe in UFO, okay? If you read Wired magazine, you prefer redheads. If you use fake ID, half of the room, you've been a mentor, and so on, and so on. See, what is the human context? Data doesn't lie. You just need to ask the right questions. By the way, if you like the Cookie Monster, you believe in life after death. Hilarious. Data is in the bottom. Leave it alone. Design it to become information and design that to become wisdom. And if you have a lot of features that you're super proud of have engineered, put it in the product and then bag it up, you need to serve it. You need to build a relationship with the receiver. So design the relationship first. The rest is easy. And this is important stuff. This is the understanding of the human context, the human need. This is empathy, something we all have. I happen to work for a company that is the 10th most empathic in the world, together with Alphabet and Microsoft and LinkedIn and so on. Why is it important? Because empathy is extremely good business. You have higher performance, you increase your value, and you earn more money. Empathy, that human thing, is the bottom line. And even World Economic Forum predicts that complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence are the skills we need to drive the futures we want. And we need this human-machine, the symbiosis between human gifts and machine intelligence. Smartest app in the world, smartest system, is the one that makes you more smart or human. Data is the paint and algorithms or the brush of the futures. We can augment humans with machine reality and machines with human reality. You know, today's machines help us to work with scalable efficiency, standardized activities, and predictable results. All that of third industrial revolution. But if you look at it, it's also a description of a computer program. You know, complex problem solving needs human creativity, at least for now. And creativity is not adjusting your small margins in a Word document. It's writing a love letter. Work means to surface, foster, and optimize the gifts you have as a human to something greater for you and the community around you. And the communities and the relations we build are very important. We need to design the future's relations in a global scale, because the ultimate price is always paid somewhere far away. So this is global activism. It is because if you design and engineer and imagine artifacts and services, they shape our behavior. We all have an iPhone and so on. Behaviors shape communities, communities shape societies, and societies shape politics. So design is political. I almost bet that, say, within a decade, somewhere in Europe, we will have a prime minister with a very strong innovation and design background. Because we take all these decisions every day, and they point into the future, at least according to Barbie and Einstein. We need to somehow fuse them. We are fusionists to conduct. The next big thing is not a thing, it's a relations between the things we see and how dynamically it changes. Okay, let's understand the futures then. It's beyond human understanding, so spend time, calculate, imagine. It's unexpected, so be prepared for a large spectrum of stuff and choose the ones that you want. And again, it's imaginable, so it can be fantastic. It's up to us. And how to do this? Build relationships. Describe them, articulate them really well so you can start a very decent conversation, not the crap we see on the news. And use the algorithms. Use the human context fueled by the machine intelligence. So we can maybe even discover something within us that is human at last, that hasn't been surfaced yet. Now I'll leave you with this. This is an application some of you have maybe not seen. I'm old. It's pen and paper, very versatile. This is a travel voucher, basically a travel expense if you go on a business travel. So you use, this gentleman went on a business travel in 1969. He used a company vehicle, yeah? It was a government spacecraft, and he went to the moon. This is Buzz Aldrin's travel expense to get his $33 back. And I was thinking, it's such a fantastic human being. Courageous, bold, curious, creative. Couldn't we use that a little bit better? And we can. We have the tools. We understand how to imagine futures. With the human-machine symbiosis, we can focus on the desirable, positive futures, and we can articulate them and discuss them. And we can decide where I and you and we can play a very positive, significant role. And if we do this really well, I think we can actually design futures we all want to live in. And the change, the speed of change, is sometimes scary. Look at the politics around the world. Because we don't understand, we don't discuss this. So I just want to leave you with this. You're a ghost driving a meat-coated skeleton made from stardust, riding a rock, hurtling through space. So fear nothing. Thank you.